And welcome back here to Open. Daren Jaime here with you. Well, Raising John's Boy is a book that's empowering women and raising their sons solo, educating them not to raise their sons with animosity, but also engaging men to initiate a healthy and balanced dialogue with other men on the power of staying and holding one another accountable for positive manhood as well as some fatherhood standards. And here now to share with us is the author of the book, Raising John's Boy, Nijaah Howard. And thank you so much for being with us, Nyjah.
Thank you, Daren, so much for having me here today.
Great. And so when we talk about Raising John's Boy, it was a writing of yours, as we said, and it was dealt to really helping out single mothers, and you kind of like trying to fill in some gaps there. So what was behind the writing of Raising John's Boy?
Ooh, well, I have experienced a great deal of struggle and overwhelm when I was raising my own son. Not necessarily raising him in particular, but it was the life that was going on around me. His father was very, very, very mean and aggressive, and to a point that it took me out of my own character. I spent over 10 years in family court system. And so it really gave me an eye opening into um, just how the system works, how a lot of our men work. But I also understood how if I didn't check myself and really hone into self-love and self-encouragement and motivation, I could have lost myself in so many ways. And so I didn't want this same thing to happen to other moms out there, young mothers who are raising their sons. And so when after over 10 years of being dragged through the family court system, I woke up one morning and realized, oh my God, thank you so much. I made it. And I realized God just He helped me put the words and the paper and the pen together, and it just came out. And I said, if I could get through this, what I went through, I want to help other mothers get through it as well, and their sons.
Talk to me about the mindset, right? Because was there ever a mindset for you that said, because you are, a mother that's raising a son, and we know that the presence of the father does make a significant difference in the life of children. So give us your thought process as you're going through this about being effective as a mom with the son. Did you ever doubt yourself?
Absolutely, absolutely. When you're hearing statements, there was so much systemic oppression on us as being, here I am a woman, and then I'm a woman of color, and I'm raising a Black son. That trilogy right there was enough to say, you're not enough. You're not capable or enough to raise him to be a stand-up, powerful, productive, and peaceful man. It was understood years ago that if you are African American and raising a son without a father, he was doomed to be dead or in jail or on drugs as he got older. And you were going to be a welfare queen or uneducated. And so I fought those stereotypes. I fought those negative statements that says only a man can raise a man. I fought that. And I went back to school. I got my master's degree. He graduated high school. We did our thing. And I am so empowered by the fact that I am God's child. And I want other moms to know that you're God's child too. And if I can do it, so can you.
Yeah. And so talk to me about takeaways from the book. As people begin to read your book, what do you want people to be able to take away?
You know what? It's a self-help guide. It's a structure. We don't all have the answers. As a mom, I have to say I was fortunate. I was fortunate enough to have the village around me of support. And so I was also fortunate because I had this burning desire inside of me to fight the power, if you will. And so I want moms to take away tips and tools of how to use their tools, right? Because not every mom knows how to raise a son. They have them, but it doesn't mean they know how to raise them. And so are you raising him effectively? Are you raising him to be a good husband? Are you preparing him to be a good father? These are real tips and tools that Raising John's Boy is helping to establish inside of you and really jostle some thoughts in your mind, because it's bigger bigger than just, I have a son. It's bigger than that. You want to raise a man for the next generation to say, I am standing here today and I am loyal. I have integrity. I have a good character. I'm a stand-up man. And these are the kind of qualities we want to raise in our men. We don't want to coddle them. We want to prepare them to be men.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Talk to me a little bit more about uh, not just your book, but also you've got a magazine as well.
I do. I have a beautiful magazine called Thoughts and Action. This is such a unique magazine because it's double-sided and it has men on one side and there's women on the other side. The concept behind this magazine is that I really want to establish empathy, compassion, and love within the male and female population. I want men to start loving women again, Black women again, and I want women to start loving Black men again. So the whole concept here is this magazine focuses on one issue. And how does that one issue impact the man? And how does that one issue impact the woman? And the hope is that as they read this magazine, they're developing a sense of respect and self-love and understanding of both each other so that we can come together as one, as a family, and not divided as each other.
Yeah. I want you to share with me a little bit about finding your voice. I mean, obviously you're writing now and you've got a magazine, you've got a book. I know you've got some other things in the works, but talk to us
Yes.
about finding your voice. When was it for you that you actually could say, I got it, found my voice?
You know, I would have to say, I would have to say my struggle during the court system is when I found my voice, because I seen how if you do not have the proper representation, you can get swallowed into the system, and the system will make you feel as though you are guilty, you are wrong, you're not enough, along with other parties. So I remember being in the court system, the courtroom, and I remember the very first time I stood up in defense of myself because I couldn't afford an attorney. They were too
Mm,
expensive. And my son's father, he was able to afford one. So I was constantly up against the wolves. But I remember the very first time I had to speak up and defend myself and defend my son and my actions as his mother and what I was capable of doing. And I remember when I stood up, the whole courtroom got silent because I spoke from a place that only a mama who is brown, who's loving her son, can come from. And the whole courtroom was like in awe. And I remember at that moment, it was just me and my Bible. And I remember at that moment, that's all I had was my Bible and my faith. And that's when I spoke up and I said, if I can do it now, this is my chance to help other moms with their voice as well.
wow. Amazing. Amazing. Well, before we go, I want people to have the opportunity to connect with you. How do they go about connecting if they want the book, if they want to get the magazine? How do they go about doing that?
Well, let me just say really quick, thank you so much again for having me. If you want to reach out to me, my mission is to help our young African American Black and brown boys and men. And so I want to help single mothers today to strengthen that relationship with them, build up their self-esteem, their competency, and really get things going for themselves. Find that voice and find that pattern of freedom. So I help moms today, and I do that through my coaching. And so I'm asking moms, reach out to me. If you are a young African American male between 18 and 65, I'm currently doing a huge research right now. And I'm asking young men between 18 and 65 years of age, reach out to me because I'm doing a study and I want to empower our moms through this study, because we need each other. So if you want to reach out to me, go to my website. I'm at www.nyjaahoward.com. That's NIJAAHOWARD.com. When we strengthen our boys and our men, Daren, we stabilize our girls and our women.
Yeah, amazing, amazing work. Nyjah, thank you so much for sharing with us. And it's been very impactful hearing you talk and share your story and ultimately find your voice. Thank you so much for being with us here on Open.
Thank you so very much for having me again, and I look forward to hopefully coming back again soon.
Yeah, we got to bring it back for sure, for sure. Now, again,
Excellent.
if you want more information, you can always visit her website at nyjaahhoward.com. Listen, we've got more shows. Stay with us. Open will continue right after this.